Good evening, everyone. JB, nobody famous. Well, because you already know why. I'm nobody famous. So, these last couple weeks, man, I've been learning more and more about, uh, this YouTube thing. And as you know, I've been driving trucks for, a couple days, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4, I don't know. But I saw a video from a certain individual, and I won't disclose his name because I haven't talked to him. Again, I don't do that. I don't put people's business out there like that because that's not my business. So, this particular gentleman has been on YouTube for a minute, and he has been training. And I wanted to kind of touch on that since I'm a truck driver. And I was, first I was field artillery, and then I reclassed into transportation when I was in the military, in the Army. And the MOS, Military Occupational Skill Set, is an 88 mic, which is also known as a motor transport operator. Truck driver, in short. That's what you are, right? Well, you go in, you get a little rank, man. You kind of transition into a leadership role, and then you become a leader. And as a leader, you have to train people underneath you. And sometimes people above you. And sometimes people equal to you. Also better known as subordinate seniors and your peers, right? So this particular gentleman was talking about how long he was with a trainer and then training his last student before he goes on a vacation. And some of y'all probably figure out who it is. I'm still not going to say his name because I haven't talked to the gentleman. And again, I don't put information out like that. But I wanted to touch on this training thing. Look, when I was in the military, man, I trained a lot of people. And I trained a lot of people on a lot of different pieces of equipment. A lot of stuff. But training is more than just training somebody how to do something. And let me break down what I'm talking to you about. So, in the case of being a truck driver in the civilian world, you go to a company, whatever company it may be, and you become a trainer. There's 2 reasons to become a trainer. Either you become a trainer because you want to make extra money, or you become a trainer because you actually want to train the next generation of drivers coming out here to be better drivers and to be more alert and more cautious and learn how to avoid getting into situations rather than just getting out here running wide open trying to get from point A to point B as fast as you can with no regard for the size of that vehicle or how fast it's going or the amount of time and it takes to stop it. And that goes in the corners, exiting off ramps, entering off ramps, merging, going across bridges. If you have hazmat, going around cities, major cities, getting on toll roads, 2-lane roads, mountains, 2-lane divided highways, backing, alley docking, pre-trip, paperwork, Qualcomm, the whole 9 yards, man. Starting from the beginning of studying for the test, then you pass the test and you start going to the training phase. And the first thing you do is your pre-trip. Well, when you're doing pre-trip, you have to identify and you have to put your hands on everything that you identify so that the examiner or the instructor or the examiner knows that you know what you're talking about. So when you get out there, man, and you encounter a DOT officer that wants to pull you in for a level 1. And oh, by the way, they don't need a reason to stop you. They just feel like doing a level 1, 2, or 3. You need to know the differences. If you get a level 1, they're checking everything. Everything. They're going to do a complete inspection of your truck. They're going to check all your documents, and then they're also going to make sure you have all your required documents to be qualified to drive that piece of equipment that you're operating. And a level 2, they might do a quick inspection on the truck. And a level 3 is just paperwork. That's all that is. Little lady. But they might check your permit book, stuff like that. Might kick a couple tires here and there, but generally they don't do that in a level 3. They generally don't do that. Very rarely do you get a level 3 unless it's by some county sheriff that may be DOT qualified, or maybe in training to do that. But part of that training also requires a trainer to know and teach the student who can and who can't come on your truck. Now, I don't know if some of the trainers even know this, man, but any law enforcement can stop you. But if you're not DOT qualified, man, you're not checking anything in this truck. You're just not doing it. I don't care how big and bad you think you are. If you're not DOT qualified, you're not getting in my truck. It's just not happening. So the reason I brought this up, obviously I've been driving trucks for a long time, as y'all see. And I'm getting ready to start a new gig on Monday in the city I live in. I won't disclose that because, again, I didn't ask it. But, and I don't want to get into any type of legal ramifications, man, for stating the municipality that I work for that may cause a conflict of interest for me to lose my job. And that's something else that some of you guys that are on YouTube making these videos, man, you need to make sure you talk to people before you start putting out information like that, man, because if they really wanted to, they can come after you. And if you're a lease operator or even a company driver, you're a lease operator, man, they can terminate your contract. Same thing with a company driver. And oh, by the way, in case you haven't figured this out, everybody is on the internet now. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and whatever else is out there. I don't even know all the stuff that's out there. Whatever platform is out there, man, for you to put content out for people to watch, you got to be careful what you say and how you say it. That's the main thing when it comes to dealing with these companies. Now, I'm not telling you how to put content out. You do what you want to do. If you're, talk about a personal experience, I don't think that if it's something in your personal life, I don't think you have to be so cautious. I would be, because I wouldn't want somebody to view me, man, as being something I'm not. Even though a lot of people do that anyway, it is what it is. But back to what I was saying. So this training thing, right? There's more to training than just teaching somebody how to drive a truck and how to back and couple and uncouple, man, and do a pre-trip and slide your tandems and put in load locks or load bars to do driver load count, shipper load count, to watch them install airbags to make sure that they're loading it properly. There's a lot more to training than that. Here's the one thing I want everybody to understand. You're putting somebody in a vehicle that is big enough just for you, really. And you're bringing another man or woman in there to train them how to be a professional truck driver. There's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I commend y'all for doing it. But here's the issue, though. You might be with a man for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 7 months, a year, whatever, right? However long it takes. And if you have a person that's never driven a commercial motor vehicle before, you got to start from the very bottom. You got to start from the ground zero, man, and walk them all the way through that. It takes a very special type of person to do that has this big P word, as my road dog say, patience. It takes a lot of patience to deal with people, man. And here's where the specialty comes in at. You don't know this person doesn't know you. And you're putting them, you guys and girls are going to be in this confined space together for an extended period of time. It's only natural, it's only human that after a while you're going to get tired of each other, man, because you're in each other's space. You're around each other all the time. So you have to be able, man, to know when a person is being frustrated or a person is scared. And what I mean by that is when you put people on the spot, man, they tend to, anxiety kicks in. And it's no telling what they're going to do. They may just lock up and freeze and may jump out of the truck, start crying. You don't know. So some of you trainers have to realize, man, you can't talk crazy to people because they don't have what you have. You're opening the door for a problem, man, if you do that. You need to learn how to deal with people, man, and understand everybody's not going to respond to you the same way that you talk to them. If you're a trainer and they're in that truck and they're making mistakes and they're popping tires and hitting curbs, hey, man, that stuff's going to happen. That stuff is going to happen. You can't expect them to know what you know. They're just starting out. So you as that trainer have to understand that, listen, first of all, that truck is man-made. It's going to break down. It's just going to happen. I don't care what type of truck it is. Freightliner, Peterbilt, Volvo, International, Western Star, Mack, whatever the case may be. The truck is going to break down. It's going to happen, man. You're going to have issues. You're going to catch flats, man. It happens. You're going to break belts. Your APUs are not going to work. Lights, and man, stuff's going to happen. So you, as the trainer, first of all, need to understand that. And I'm sure that most companies have a class you go to, man, that explain that to you. And if there's anybody watching any of my videos, which I haven't got a lot of views, and I don't really care if I do, but if I can help somebody, that's what this is all about. If there's anybody in these companies watching my videos, man, I need y'all to listen to me. Please. If you have somebody in your office, man, that has been a driver for more than 30 years, and has been all across this country, man, and been in every type of weather condition there is to be in, and you've been down every mountain you can go down, and you've gone to California, and you've gone to Canada, and you've gone to the Pacific Northwest, and you've gone to the East Coast and Canada, and you've gone down south, and you've been through the Midwest, then you need to be the one that's in there that are implementing these things that I'm talking about. The key thing here is people. You have to understand that. People don't appreciate being talked to like they're a piece of dirt, man. And they don't appreciate being put down because they don't have the same skill set that you have. If that was the case, this would be a boring ass country, man. Because we all be the same. First things first, drivers, trainers. There's no such thing as a super trucker. If you think you know everything, do everybody and yourself a favor. Go hang them keys up, man, and go find a different profession. Because you are going to kill somebody. There's something called complacency. Anybody that's been in the military knows exactly what I'm talking about. Complacency is when you get too comfortable doing the very thing that you've been doing for a long amount of time, and you don't want to grow, and you don't want to come out of your comfort zone. That's when you get dangerous. When I was in the military and I was training, every time I got a new private that came from basic or AIT, that's the first person I went to. Come here, teach me this. What's the newest thing the Army's doing? Well, Sergeant, hey, listen, don't worry about that. Show me what you know. Tell me what I need to know, because that's how you stay up on the game. And you also stay up on the game by watching videos, man, and going through these trucking organizations like well, I ain't gonna say no names. Well, I can say that OOIDA. They're a good organization, man. They keep a lot of good information that's being distributed, man, to drivers every day. There's a magazine, Landline, that comes out with that. You got Trucker Path. You got all these trucking websites, man, you can learn stuff from. And then there's also this thing called this very thing I'm on called this cell phone. You can call other drivers that you know that may have been in the game, man, for 30, 40, 50 years. Which those you're starting to see less and less of those, man, because they're starting to retire. My point is, ladies and gentlemen, please be mindful of the people that are getting on your truck. The biggest part about training is, man, knowing your people's strengths and weaknesses. I'm not saying y'all got to be best friends, man, but you ain't got to treat that person like dirt because they don't have what you have. Because at the end of the day, you got to remember something. Somebody did that for you, too. Don't forget where you come from, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't forget where you come from. Because one day, that very person you talking crazy to may just end up being a fleet owner, man. You might get yourself in trouble. Now you got to go drive for him or her. And you reap what you sow. That's why it doesn't pay, man, to be mean to a person that doesn't know how to drive a truck. That's what you're there for, man, to teach them. But you're also there, man, to be their counselor, to be their crisis coordinator, to be that shoulder that they need to lean on, man, when they're away from home. Just because you don't have a family doesn't mean that they don't. And just because your marriage is solid doesn't mean that their marriage is. So you have to wear a lot of hats being a trainer. And the main thing is, man, you need to be their confidant too. When somebody tells me something, man, it doesn't go anywhere. When somebody tells me something personal, man, that may be very important to them, may not mean nothing to me because I don't even know. But if they tell me in confidence, man, that's where it's going to stay at. I don't tell anybody that stuff, man. It's not cool. That's what causes problems in the world today. Get out of this habit, man, of just training people for the money, if you're doing it, and not teaching them the right way on what they need to know about this road. Everybody thinks, man, that training somebody, man, is being able to control that truck. Your number one job as a driver, ladies and gentlemen, is the motoring public around you. I hope you know that. And if you don't know that, you need to learn it right quick like. You need to watch everybody else around you, man, because here's the thing. 95% of people, man, that do stuff crazy around trucks, man, they don't realize they're doing it because they're scared. And they're scared because they've had an incident before where somebody hasn't been paying attention, man. And something bad has probably happened to them. You have to understand that as a driver. And I don't care what you're driving. Garbage truck, straight truck, beer truck, semi, flatbed, reefer, van, oversized, whatever it is, man, you need to understand the motoring public is the number one job that you need to worry about. Why do you think they always tell you, man, to check your mirrors every 3 to 5 seconds? And look down the road 5 to 7 seconds. Or 10 to 12 seconds. Or 13 to 15 seconds. Whatever method you want to use. Why do you think everybody always says that? It's not to protect you, man. It's to protect the motoring public around you. Another thing, when you get to these shippers and receivers, man, you can't have an attitude, man, because if they see you do it, what do you think they're going to do? So if you get there and you're in a reefer, man, everybody knows in reefers, a lot of sitting around. You get to a shipper receiver, man, and the load's not ready, you can't get upset, man, and start dropping F-bombs. and this is BS, and then you want to call your fleet manager and yell at him, because guess what? Somebody's watching you. And if you start doing that, they're going to start doing it. And then when they get in trouble and that fleet manager calls you and say, hey, why they doing that? You got nobody to blame but yourself. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, nobody's perfect. We're all going to get upset, man. We all have bad days. It happens. We all get PO'd, man, because Lowe's ain't ready. Now we got to sit around. You know, and guess what? You might lose some revenue. Okay. But that's the trucking game, man. Especially in reefer. That is the trucking game. But guess what? You get your best sleep in a reefer. So much sitting around, you might well go to sleep. Get ready and get rested up. A lot of night driving in reefer. I heard this one individual I was talking about earlier talking about these trainers making these students drive at night all the time. Man, don't do that. You got to mix it up, man. You got to split that clock up. When their 11 hours is up, man, get up, get ready, and drive. When your 11 hours is up, you get up and let them drive, man. But you got to rotate them days. You can't just do it. They drive all days and then you drive all nights, or they drive all nights, you drive all days. You're not teaching them nothing. You're not teaching them anything. And the one thing that everybody needs to understand, if you don't know this, man, the landscape changes at night. There's something called depth perception. Anybody that's ever worn night vision goggles in the military knows exactly what I'm talking about, man. Depth perception is a real thing. The landscape changes at night, so you don't know what's on the sides of the roads that you would when you see during the day. So listen, people, there's more than just getting out here, man, getting this money, man, making these X amount of dollars a week and buying these fancy phones and cars and houses. That's all fine, man, but don't let that be the reason why you're training somebody. Please don't let that be the reason. Train somebody to teach them right. So that when they get out there, man, they get the situation, man, they know what they need to do. Have them call you and say, hey, man, what do I do in this situation? I don't know what to do. Don't get mad when they call you, man. Okay, where you at? What you trying to get into? What are you doing? All right, go in there and talk to this person, man, or see this person, or call this number right here. It's all about networking, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about helping people out. But the main thing is, man, you have to get to know your students, man, because people get nervous when somebody's watching them do something they don't know how to do. It's only human. Do not rip their head off if they don't get it the first 5, 6, 7 times. That's what you're there for, to train them. Also, man, take care of your people, man. When I was a trainer out here, man, every time I had a student get off my truck, man, I would buy them a trucker's almanac, and I would sit them down, man, and show them how to read that trucker's almanac. Forget the GPS. Ain't nothing wrong with the GPS, man, but when all that fails, you need to know that trucker's almanac. You need to know what highways run each way and how to get from east to west and north to south in this country. What roads are approved and what roads are restricted. Again, there's nothing wrong with a GPS, man. There's nothing wrong with it at all. When you get in the Northeast, man, you better get that almanac out, man, because that GPS put you places you ain't supposed to be. And God forbid, man, please don't use your phone in a commercial motor vehicle. It's not going to work. Okay? It's not going to work. Just cut and drive, man. It's not going to work. All right, I just want to make a video about that, man. I'm no different than any of you that are out there training. My hat's off to all of you, men and women that are out there training, man. My hat's off to all of you. I think it's a beautiful thing to sit down and train somebody to be proficient in this craft. But don't you all forget that every time you train somebody, it's always a good idea, man. Go back and get some training yourself. You got to stay fresh on the newest stuff that comes out. Understood? It's only going to make you a better person, that's all. All right, man. As usual, live, love, laugh, enjoy life. Love y'all. Peace.